Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having an absolutely incredible day. Before we start, Ledger is currently having a 40% off of their cold hardware storage wallets. If you have been looking for or thinking of acquiring one, now might be the time to actually do so. While I am not an employee of Ledger, I do have an affiliate link in my description below. If you decide to buy one, give a little click and you'll get 40% off. I myself use Ledger. I have been using them for a while. I actually have, I think, 3 or 4 Ledgers. I find them incredibly safe. Yeah, this is, I think, their strongest, biggest discount that they've ever had as far as I know. They usually have like 20% off, so 40% off is a bit insane. If you use the promo code Black Friday. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. The news today is, I mean, you can't even begin to imagine what's been happening. Like, and every single time I make a video, it's not like this stuff is happening over the course of like a 3, 4, 5, 9 week period. It happened like 12 hours ago. The world is fascinating. After rallying 80% in 2 months, Bitcoin is recapturing media attention from the top end of town, with the Wall Street Journal discussing the cryptocurrency's adoption among institutional investors on the front page of its November 23rd issue. The report notes that Bitcoin has recently found support from Wall Street billionaires Paul Tudor Jones and Stanley Druckenmiller, alongside other public figures, including a sports radio host. And there's a little tweet right there for it. The Wall Street Journal's coverage comes along a lull in Bitcoin's presence in mainstream outlets, despite the cryptocurrency surging to test rarely seen prices while setting new records for market capitalization. I spoke about this, I think, maybe once or twice on here, and nearly every day to my friend who's in Florida. We kept on saying when Bitcoin's price was 9,000 and went to 12,000, we were like, wow, that's kind of crazy, maybe it'll make the news. 14,000 was a number that we kept on hearing for a while that we had to pass by in order for us to have this upsurge in price. Lo and behold, we passed by 14,000 and here we are with this crazy upsurge in price, but we didn't make the news. Even as the other coins started skyrocketing, and Bitcoin is now $1,000 away from its previous all-time high, it hasn't been inside the news. And I speculated that it was either because the people who run the news networks are either accumulating Bitcoin themselves and don't want other people to know, which is a totally real thing right now. When you talk about the actual lack of Bitcoin on the market, there's not a lot. We've gone over this before. And there's less and less every single day, because you also have to understand and assume that the billionaires who we're constantly talking about on here as well are probably buying more every single day as well. Also talking about the people who are also getting into the mining space, who are also gobbling up the little portions by themselves. But the fact that we really haven't made it into like mainstream news at all was a bit surprising. And even the Wall Street Journal says Bitcoin trades again near record, driven by a new group of buyers. Like, even the Wall Street Journal isn't really mainstream. Like, the Wall Street Journal targets very specific people. It is not your daily news. It is not your local news that you're going to be picking up from your local store and or watching on some type of channel. The fact of the matter is that it appears to be starting. I'm still going to assume that we are going to see a lot of Bitcoin coverage in the coming months on traditional news outlets, but it's going to be relatively negative because it's either people who are buying it up, who don't want you to yet buy it up, or it's going to be people who are not buying it up, who hate Bitcoin, and they're trying to make sure that it stays out. Don't forget, a lot of people have made their money through other methods or through the idea that gold is going to be the store of value forever. So anything that threatens their billions of dollars, they're not going to want to talk about it and or boast about it and or what have you about it. But on that note, prices are still going up, as one might have imagined. Like I said, over the last 8 hours, a lot of stuff has been taking place while you all were sleeping. This one says XRP is now up 200% since the start of November, at highest price since mid-2018. A lot of the Bitcoin price news actually isn't in the news that much anymore because a lot of other coins are having their day in the spotlight. This one says XRP registers historic triple-digit price rally entering third day of its bull run. It gets better and crazier, I promise you. Okay, for those of you not looking at the screen, it says XRP explodes 100% in price to 92 cents per coin on Coinbase amid intense illiquidity. There's a couple of things to talk about here. One, it went up by 100%. That's absolutely insane. So I guess, one, we have figured out that XRP is a coin, and probably even going forwarder after this, intense bull run that we are clearly in and or entering or momenting towards, is that XRP is a coin that kind of stays lull for a year or two, and then eventually just skyrockets in price. It seems to be what XRP does. The idea of illiquidity is popping up a lot more and more. Cryptocurrencies in themselves are scarce. We've had speculation during the course of this year. There's something called Whale Tracker on Twitter, I believe it is, and also like whatever. People tracking these numbers of where things are going, and people have been seeing very large amounts of XRP moving to other wallets, what have you. Speculation being, are they going to an exchange, or are they going to a very rich person who's trying to hoard these coins? The idea of them going to an exchange, we would usually know because we have the actual addresses for the cryptocurrency exchanges to be able to say, hey, they have X amount of coins inside of their wallet. But as it stands right now, it appears as though XRP is drying up quite rapidly. And this could be leading to a couple of things, mainly because we know for a fact, we've had news about this in 2018 and 2019, Ripple has partnered with a large number of banks around the world. These banks have not come out explicitly saying that they are going to be using XRP. However, the news that we got from Ripple and other people in the community was that their products would be so that even if banks didn't explicitly say they were going to be using XRP, the back end of the actual transaction would still finish in XRP, which means that you need that XRP to actually fill the liquidity for what's happening. So, it appears that a lot of coins are spiking in price right now, as we've seen the last couple of days, but it seems to be also because there's not a lot of them on cryptocurrency exchanges at the moment. So this leads to the question, how much Bitcoin is left? How much Ether is left? How much XRP is actually left on these exchanges? Here we go. It says XRP price spikes to 90 cents and then crashes in seconds as Coinbase goes down. I know. I can feel the anger. I can feel the frustration. It just seems to be the way that Coinbase is right now. I don't know what it is. I don't know if we can do anything about it. We've been having this discussion the entire year that every single time, nearly every single time, allegedly, that a coin is spiking, tremendously in price, that Coinbase goes down. We had this problem when Bitcoin was trying to reach 9,000, 10,000, 12,000, I think 14,000. It happens all the time, but now here's my opinion. Here's how I feel. There's big money at play, and your website has to be ready to accommodate to as big a flow of people as possible who want to go onto your website. When you're talking about something going to 90 cents or 92 cents and crashing back down, I think it went down to 66 cents or 65 cents and is currently still on an upward trajectory. Now it's around like 70 cents. You are messing up people's wallets, and I hope that Coinbase really gets it together, because if I was in a situation where I could potentially make 5.7 million and the website went down for whatever reason, and I looked at my wallet again and it said 2.2 million, I lost out on 3-something million simply because Coinbase went down. That's not me personally. That was a hypothetical. But you understand what that means for someone who's like, you took 3 million away from me. So anyway, we're of course getting these crazy numbers once again. For those of you not looking at the screen, it says XRP could hit 440 US dollars due to a runaway inflation and money printing. That would put XRP's market cap at 20 trillion US dollars. At this point, question mark, because no one really knows. About 10, 11, 12 years ago, if someone had told you that Bitcoin was one day going to hit a $1 trillion market cap, you would have looked at them like they were, I can't even think of anything to say there. The fact that we're now talking about Bitcoin hitting $1 million and then potentially even further than that as the future continues going on and Bitcoin becomes more scarce leads us to a world where none of us really know how high these coins are going to go. I think the most realistic price prediction that I saw for XRP during this run was $25. And I hesitate even saying that out loud because my price point that I'm aiming for is around 10. I think we can triple price from where we previously were before. 25 does seem relatively believable. Same exact thing with an $8,000 Ether. Anyway, this one also says Ethereum's price hit $600 for the first time in 2 years. Everything is doing exceedingly well. We're here, if that makes any sense to you. The moment we've been waiting for a very long time, we're here, we've entered it. Everyone is completely losing their minds as to where all these things are going to go. And this isn't it. Like, this isn't, we've only begun with the upward momentum. This has nothing, we are not even a fragment of where we're actually going to be. Because once Bitcoin does pass by $20,000, the sky's the limit. I've been hearing from a number of friends, family members, colleagues, I don't have colleagues, associates, what have you, so on and so forth, acquaintances, either questions on how to buy cryptocurrencies or that their friend is asking them how to buy cryptocurrencies. Everyone wants in. The issue for them is going to be that there's not a lot of coins floating around left. So had they gotten into the market at the beginning of this year, last year or the year before, they would have a lot of coins. That's also not to say that you won't do exceedingly well if you're entering the market right now, but it's scarce pickings. I feel like that's a phrase. So the pool is going to dry up very fast, and just make sure that you have a cup because, yeah, let's move on. Next up, PayPal's chief executive believes cryptocurrencies are on the verge. Oh, so the next leg of the news is basically a solidification of everything we've been talking about the last year or two, and my speculations as to all the wealthy people really hitting home talking about how much they love Bitcoin and where Bitcoin's going to go. We are and have swapped mentalities as far as they're telling us when it comes to the future of Bitcoin and the future of all these coins and exactly where they're going to go, because now they seem well and sure that Bitcoin is going to take over the entirety of the universe. PayPal's chief executive believes cryptocurrencies are on the verge of mainstream adoption as more businesses and consumers flock to digital payments and digital forms of currency. In an interview with CNBC, PayPal CEO Dan Schulman said that 19 has accelerated the shift of digital forms of payment. PayPal wants to be at the forefront of the ongoing digital transformation. Schulman said the use of cash has declined precipitously amid 19, adding that 40 to 70% of consumers no longer want to handle cash. It's also gross. And maybe it's just me, whenever I see people touching like bills in the supermarket, is like, I don't know what that was. PayPal is just making it easier for people to buy and hold cryptocurrencies. The service will integrate, here's the interesting part. The PayPal service will integrate existing merchant payment platforms, allowing businesses to accept digital forms of payment. For some reason, it's completely slipped my mind, and I'm not even sure why I didn't even think of this. You can pay with PayPal in many places around the world. You can, go on your phone, PayPal, hold it up to the thing, you pay. So this is another leg of allowing businesses to be able to accept cryptocurrencies on their platforms, in their stores, what have you, so on and so forth. I do think that this is going to come into play at some point in the future. However, I do not think within the next 2 years that people are going to be using these services. I do not think that people are going to be actively spending their Bitcoin, not cashing out of the market. If Bitcoin hits 200K, I'll understand if people decide to cash out a chunk to go buy a house or something like that. But I think the actual mainstream usage of Bitcoin will not happen in a store until Bitcoin hits $1 million. I don't think really, realistically, that people are going to be willing to let go of their Bitcoin in that sort of way. I read an article yesterday. Listen, grain of salt. It said something along the lines of seller beware kind of thing. It was like, during the next leg up, there are going to be a lot of people who are going to be selling. But what's going to end up happening is, according to the article, is that these people will sell off their coins to buy a Maserati, whatever they want to buy. And then rich people will grab those coins that are back onto the market, and those coins will be lost and gone forever. And that person who sold those coins will never be able to acquire those. So it's kind of this, like, rich people are kind of already accumulating. They're waiting on the sidelines even further to see who else kind of sells. If anybody's selling, they're going to buy it, kind of thing. So yeah, we haven't heard much from Bakkt, that is BAKKT, and their endeavor to get a whole bunch of companies to using cryptocurrencies as a payment method. I assume that's still on track somewhere behind the scenes. I don't think it's going to catch on immediately, but most certainly, you'd better believe when Bitcoin hits 1 million, a lot of people, even if the point is people will be using their crypto to buy things in the next couple of years, more significantly, if you will. Not sure at all if this had to do with the price movement. Not the speculation that I've been seeing from XRP has been that speculation. Got to make sure to say it thrice, just so everyone really gets it. Is that behind the scenes something must be happening with XRP, and the most speculative thing I've seen is that we've been expecting, or PayPal said that in the future they would be adding more coins onto their platform. I assume the assumption is, or maybe there have been discussions by Ripple and PayPal behind the scenes that they're going to be adding XRP at some point in the future, and this could be speculation as to why the price is rising, because people are buying up in hordes in anticipation of that announcement, which would then put us in the exact same situation as 2017, where we had the Coinbase effect, because people were expecting Coinbase to list XRP, and it also caused it. Why is this year so similar to 2017? Like, what have we done to have this exact same mimic? It's a very weird situation. This one says Ripple is pushing to bring the XRP ledger to the world of central bank digital currencies. The San Francisco startup is looking to hire a senior director of central bank engagements. According to a new job listing, it says Ripple is looking for a proven leader to lead our strategy, partnership, and project work with central banks around the world, with an initial focus on supporting their central bank digital currency initiatives on the XRP ledger. In this role, you will yada yada. Brand Garlinghouse recently said central banks can consider using XRP ledger to issue stablecoins. He also said XRP could be used as a bridge asset to exchange digital forms of fiat. I'll make it quick. I think behind the scenes, people have definitely taken notice. It's a matter of if they're going to be using XRP. I think they will, but it's rather to what extent. I can totally foresee that, especially if Ripple has partnerships with every bank in India and the banks in Japan, that at some point they're going to be issuing things on top of the XRP ledger and also buying up XRP themselves. I think it's just a matter of time for nearly all the coins. I won't say all the coins, because I think a lot of coins are garbage. I think a lot of the top coins that we've been hearing about for a number of years are going to finally re-see their moment in the spotlight after years of speculating what's been happening with all these things and where they're going to go. But it's clear that they're trying to partner up with banks, and I think that we're going to see banks in the future using them. It's just a matter of hearing which banks are going to be using them. And let's move on. Next up, Bitcoin as a digital gold narrative has suddenly taken on such significance. Hedge funds, corporations, and institutional investors have been reallocating a portion of their gold holdings into the cryptocurrency, according to Bloomberg Intelligence. The news that we had yesterday and the day before that has been this kind of news that Bitcoin is the new digital gold. I'm rich. Bitcoin is a new digital gold. I have money. Gold is going to be displaced by Bitcoin. If you've seen the last 4 or 5 videos, that's basically a stretch of what a portion of it was. A top senior commodities analyst for the financial forecasting giant believes that trends along with climbing futures interest while gold declines means that the cryptocurrency is beginning to gain the edge. Price appreciation wise, here's why this trend will only continue well into the future. It says Bitcoin becomes digital gold in 2020 as safe haven needs change. I don't even know, dude. Like, I honestly have no idea what to say, because it's abundantly clear that this is going to happen. I feel like a lot of the very rich hedge fund members probably had huge allocations into gold as well. They sold their gold, put it into crypto, and this is maybe why they've been coming forward talking about how great Bitcoin is, because they've sold off their gold. But I mentioned this before. But for those of you who weren't here like a month and a half ago, we know that gold is not finite. It is difficult to find. However, we make new machines and have new ways of digging into the ground every single year, and we continuously find more gold. If you get a chance, Google the article, something along like Elon Musk gold meteorite. You'll be able to find it. A lot of very rich people believe that we can start eventually, within the next 10, 15 years, start going to asteroids and start mining them for gold, because we believe that these other elements and these metals are in other planets and or other meteorites, asteroids, whatever have you, so on and so forth. The world is moving into a completely digital manner. That's just something that's going to happen. I'm sorry if you don't like it, but it kind of is what it is. I'm waiting for the moment when Bitcoin begins to absorb all the value from gold, and I think we're going to start seeing this taking shape sometime next year. I don't know gold's current price. I think it hit 2,000 this year. If we get to I think it's currently at $1,800. If we get to a $1,300, $1,400, $1,200 gold by next year, because it's being sold off as Bitcoin goes up, that's it for gold. Anyway, like I told you, the second half of the video would basically be rich people talking about how amazing Bitcoin is. I mean, it's not too bad, if I can say so myself, but the idea that everything else need not be touched and only Bitcoin should be your investment vehicle is picking up steam rather quickly. And then you talk about the actual scarcity of Bitcoin, which we're not going to get into again. It only leads us into these crazy price spikes. This one says, Bitcoin interest from whales and retail investors has skyrocketed. Bitcoin addresses with at least 1,000 BTC has surged in the past month, while retail interest has hit a new yearly high. Bitcoin has become an even more attractive investment instrument in the past few months as its price has grown substantially. The number of Bitcoin holders with at least 1,000 coins has surged to new highs, according to new data. Anything interesting here? It's basically about how many people addresses with at least 10,000 coins. There are now 114 of them, and I can only assume we probably have seen a couple of their faces in the news the last couple of months. Whales are buying up Bitcoin. They're going to continue buying up Bitcoin even when Bitcoin is at 3, 4, 500K. People are still going to be buying Bitcoin just to have fractions of the Bitcoin in anticipation of Bitcoin potentially hitting $100 million sometime in the future. There, I said it. That's the main target for those of you who didn't know. A lot of the very rich people and crypto pioneers, people who were in the market before the market even knew that it was a real market, have always set the price for $100 million Bitcoin over the course, I think it's next 12 or 16 years from this time frame. So passing the 12 years that we've already passed, plus another 12 to 15 years, that's the actual main price point for Bitcoin. And that's the absorption of all of gold, of a lot of commodities, of a lot of businesses putting their money exclusively into Bitcoin. It also leads us to a deflationary world. Anyway, yes, we could have assumed that tons of whales are buying up cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin, and that they're going to continue having more than 1,000 coins because that's what money does. This one says $20 billion in crypto under custody. Coinbase sees explosion of capital from institutional investors. Coinbase has revealed that it has had an explosion of incoming capital. Its assets under custody stand at $20 billion, $14 billion of which they have $20 billion worth of crypto, and $14 billion of which were accumulated since April. Coinbase highlights a string of bullish events that have really unleashed a wave of institutional adoption. I assume it has to do with not only 19, it has to do with the printing of the US dollar and of the euro and stimulus packages and printing money to keep up stock markets, which is nonsense because think about that. If you have to print $5 trillion to keep a stock market up, what happens if that $5 trillion was never there? You also have, I can't speak about them, but you also have ongoing events in other parts of the world. And, people in the streets can't do anything or say anything. Why did I do that? It was like a little shuffle. Anyway, yes, I think we have entered a brand new world, and it is a world that I hope that you are all already a part of or continue to be a part of, because It is only going to get crazier as time goes on. This one says Coinbase has raked in $14 billion and new institutional assets since April. Insane. And this one says, this one's also, while I don't care for the wrapped coins, it says stretch thin. Wrapped Bitcoin assets may encourage supply crisis. In a blog post on Friday, Binance reintroduced BTCB to the world, which is a wrapped Bitcoin asset intended to bring liquidity from the world's largest cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, to the Binance Smart Chain. However, hodlers, hate that word, may be cheering the renewed interest in Bitcoin B for a different reason. Each Bitcoin locked on BSC may contribute to a looming Bitcoin supply crisis. First announced last year, Binance initially saw wrapped Bitcoin solely as a vehicle for traders to obtain cross-chain asset exposure without leaving the Binance chain. Since then, however, the utility of wrapped Bitcoin has boomed due to the precarious maturation of the DeFi ecosystem. There are a number of chains right now that are taking Bitcoin and locking them up inside of its protocol so that you're able to transact in Bitcoin's value on top of another chain. The interesting part is, well, this does make Bitcoin have some quicker transactions, and on the Binance chain, I'm going to assume it has over 5,000 transactions per second. Random assumption. Cool. Bitcoin then becomes faster. You can transact in Bitcoin's value in a wrapped form, but it also locks up that Bitcoin into a protocol that can't be moved as long as this wrapped coin is floating around, which means that if you lock up 10,000 Binance Bitcoin, these 10,000 Bitcoin are gone forever, and these 10,000 Binance coin can then be used. But I think we had, what was it, like 122,000? The last time we looked has been a long time. For actual wrapped Bitcoin, I think we're going to get to over 1 million wrapped Bitcoin on top of Ethereum, which means that Bitcoin supply is going to be, there's not a lot left. I feel like I'm not taking crazy pills, but I need everyone to really understand that we are at the point where there's not going to be a lot. Listen, right now, the idea has been for a very long time. 21 million Bitcoin. We know that 4 million to 6 million are lost and gone forever. We estimate around 17 million Bitcoin may actually be around or have been created for enough people to be able to have them. The entire idea has always been that there will not be enough of an entire Bitcoin for every rich person on the planet. It's impossible. 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 Not going to happen. Impossible. When you start talking about that all these companies, that Grayscale has 500,000 Bitcoin, that's 499,999 millionaires on the planet who will never be able to own an entire Bitcoin. When Bitcoin's price starts rising and these people realize, oh crap, I missed out, and start dumping as much money as possible, they're going to be millionaires on this planet who only have 0.65 Bitcoin. Because they could not and cannot afford to buy an entire one. That's what people don't really get. The scarcity is already there. When you talk about Grayscale is going to own 1 out of every 10 Bitcoin by next year. This is absolutely, all of this stuff I assumed would happen over the course of the next 5, 6, 7, 8 years. We are here. What happens if all the Bitcoin is gone and dried up by next summer? Because these institutions, what was the news that we got yesterday? 990 Bitcoin are mined every day, some number like that. Grayscale just bought another, it was like 26,000 Bitcoin over the course of the weekend. People on PayPal are buying $25 million worth of Bitcoin a day. And that's the assumption that all the new mined Bitcoin are being put onto the market, which they're not. The people who make these mining operations are keeping the Bitcoin for themselves. This is why we had news a couple of weeks ago talking about the energy inefficiency of Bitcoin and how it's doing X, Y, and Z. And I was like, no, that's also kind of nonsense, because we know that a lot of people who are getting into the Bitcoin mining space, the game, they're making sure to use hydroelectricity so that, it's relatively free and good for nature. And they're also using solar panels, which allow them to not have to rely on another energy source. They have their own energy. You would have to assume then that the 1,000 Bitcoin being made per day are not all being pushed onto the market. Maybe they're just simply being kept by the actual miners themselves. So where the Bitcoin coming from that these major corporations and companies and family offices are buying from? Cryptocurrency exchanges. I thought I would get to 10, but I didn't. This is why the price continues rising, even when we have these little weird dips. And I know whoever is trying to cause these dips by selling off their Bitcoin, angry with themselves. Can you imagine selling off tons of Bitcoin, trying to get the market to go back down and or dip so you can accumulate more, and then it pops right back up and you will never be able to acquire those Bitcoin that you lost ever again? It's nuts. Anyway, and that's only talking about the people who are mining it, and then the people who are buying from other things like that. We're not even talking about the tens of thousands of hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin that are now locked up inside of protocols, or locked inside of mountains, or locked inside of ledgers. Oh boy. Anyway, yes, the asset is the supply is stretched rather thin. I'm trying not to lose my mind, but here we are. This is what 2020 has done to me, because I want everyone here to be able to profit from this, because it's gonna get crazy. All right. As always, look at that. Ridiculous. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters: Professor Wally from Gunbot University, Snacky Chan, Tolik Banana, Auspicious Agile and Blockchain, Navarro Williams, David James, Attila the Han, Yasha Harari, Oscar Maldonado, Utopia 569, Moonman High, XRP, Joshua Vineyard, Martin Stoyer, Nostromo, John Sarson, the Animal Reader, Bibliophobia, Todd Mullis, Adam Graysick, Moher Maroni, Master Ventures in Thailand, Jared Schneider, Wise Night Owl, 242 to the World, Bankroll Network, Crypto Artist, Cole D3D, Damien Set, Suna, Richie Richard III, Vlad the Impaler, Paxis, Nick Mangialavori, Anthony Charles, Jim Gardner, Jimmy Fox, Minting Coins, Miller Hitch Test Every Day, and Cal Skips Leg Day. Yes to Crypto, Bodie McBoatface, Anytime Fitness, Mouse Corner Staff, Arfmedic17, Bake Me a Cake, Tigger Machonisa, On Crypto, Bake Me a Cake, On Crypto with Lionel, Crayola Michelle, URL, and Bolero Bastos. Thank you all very, very much for your support. Thank you to everyone who is a member of the channel, and thank you to everyone who is a clicker of affiliate links, and thank you to everyone for supporting the channel in your own way. At the moment, looking at the screen, it looks kind of weird, right? A little weird. Bitcoin is currently trying to move up. The other coins have, for some reason, gone the opposite direction. I wonder what's happening right here. I saw news earlier, I don't have it in this video, about Bitcoin's dominance, like, continuously becoming rather sluggish because the altcoins were pushing up. I wonder if IF, big IF, we've seen this before in the past, where Bitcoin goes up, the other coins go down. It doesn't happen forever, but what happens is that the market kind of decides collectively, now's the time to bring Bitcoin up. So I wonder if this is going to be the push towards 19,000 and or the big 2-0. Yeah, they're all mimicking that exact same movement right here. To be fair, they're still up by a huge amount of percent, so we'll see where the day takes us. Anything crazy? I mean, except for the fact, where is it? That Lumens is up by 32%. There was no Lumens news, so I don't know what the Lumens is going on here. Tron is up by 6%. NEM is up by 10%. Anything crazy? Not really. I don't know what Rev is. That's up by 13%. Yeah. All right. Let's see where the day takes us. I think either way, it's going to be interesting. There's never a dull day in the cryptocurrency space because this market is completely out of its mind. I do hope you all enjoyed. I do hope that you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope that it is absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See